Ili niko nyuma yenu. Ili na protect. Protect.
Kupanda mti wa kumbukumbu. Hivi sasa Mheshimiwa Rais anataka
give a photo of your signal. Yes. So we've come in and so that's why it is. But I want to make sure that people are employed. But anyway, you can see that's the classroom block.
This one here?
Yeah, that one, floors. 2 floors. Everything is generally 2 floors. Okay. On this side, in the lab, all there. Area.
Oh, this is the dining or this?
So that dining has
the kitchen.
The kitchen is there. The gym, complete for other events.
Yes.
You know? Yes. And then this is now the living area, the accommodation space for 20, and they are well accommodated in the field. But actually,
what is covered by this now? 18. Okay, so you can do other.
And it is complete.
Okay.
Now, therefore, may it please you, and I renounce all ungodliness and all sinful activities that has ever taken place in this land. All the way back to Adam, I renounce the Son and the Holy Spirit. Let us all say, Amen. Father,
in terms of the cost was 1 point. How much of that you get?
Very good.
Tell you is that all the materials that have been used.
Okay.
How much of that you get is 25? Yes. So it's completely set up with old rooms.
So hapa ndio
yes. Exactly. And the refrigerators of the sample. Less than 2 years ago. Started January. Hotel. So you can see there's all this space.
Yeah.
This and it's like typical hotel set. There's more space.
Niko sawa. Nyuma.
Sisi maofisa ambao wako kwa National Police Service, we assure you of our loyalty. At any time, yale amri unatoa, sisi ni kutii, kuhakikisha nchi yetu inalindwa bila woga na kutishwa na yeyote. Tutalinda wananchi wetu watukufu na tutalinda mali yetu kulingana na vile utatueleza tufanye kazi. Your Excellency, today I feel greatly honored to host you on this auspicious occasion of the official opening of the National Police Leadership Academy here in Gong. One of the key objects and functions of National Police Service, as stipulated under Article 244 of the Constitution, is to strive for the highest standards of professionalism and discipline among its members. The second object is to train the staff to the highest possible standards of competence and integrity, respect for human rights and fundamental freedoms and dignity. In this regard, we have been collaborating with universities, both locally and abroad, in offering higher education to our officers on areas of strategic leadership and management. For example, our former National Police Service Senior Staff College, which was at Rolesho, used to collaborate with the Kenyatta University and the UK-based College of Policing in offering diploma and master programs in the leadership and management to senior police officers. However, the demand for knowledge and relevant skills suitable for modern policing calls for more education and training opportunities than are currently available. With the establishment of this academy, and more so in the interest of national security, we now have the capacity to create the much needed conducive learning environment where we can combine training, police training with academics. Your Excellency, sir, the establishment of this college therefore will contribute greatly to our efforts to harmonize the training within the service by bringing Kenya Police Service, Administration Police Service, and DCI officers to train together. The 21st century crimes have become complex with the technological advancement and globalization. Therefore, pursuing advanced, job-specific, but harmonized education oriented towards transformation of the police management, and this will have an impact on police professionalism and the police community relations.
January 26, 2021, we gathered at this same spot to witness a milestone in the unlikely relationship between the National Police and the Central Bank. On that day, His Excellency President Kenyatta performed the groundbreaking of what is now before us, the National Police Leadership Academy. Part of the inspiration was the real need to build leaders in the police force, as the Inspector General, as the IG mentioned a moment ago. Almost 2 years later, the world-class facility is a reality, and today we witnessed its opening by Your Excellency, President of the Republic of Kenya and Commander-in-Chief of the Defense Forces. Thank you again. Thank you very much. Your Excellency, when we started this journey, we were very aware of the project's trilemma, as they call it: time, quality, and cost. And we set out to defy them. We have many examples in our beloved country of severely delayed or uncompleted projects, poor quality and workmanship, and the ubiquitous project cost overruns. I'm pleased to report that against the original total project cost of about 1 billion, the final cost is 1.2 billion, 1.2. The extra cost is almost entirely due to the higher than envisaged cost of material, which were dealt with as per the contracts. As for quality, Your Excellency, we pushed to maintain the highest standards of the materials and workmanship. As you have observed during your brief tour, we have maintained that. However, the construction time stretched 2 years instead of 1 year. And in our defense, I'll say that a lot of the heavy construction was done while COVID-19 protocols were in place. And so, in the words of Nelson Mandela, it always seems impossible until it is done. We are proud that the project brought together Kenyan expertise and material. Material was sourced locally. As I mentioned to you, Your Excellency, you'll be pleased to know that the local content of the project was 85%. 85. Specifically, 25% of the project cost was labor, all local, and the governor can attest to that. And local material constituted 80% of material cost. Additionally, of the local material, about 60% was sourced from Kajiado County. This really warms the governor's heart. And saving the best for last, Your Excellency, the professionals representing the contractors, consultants on the site were mostly under 35 years of age. Your Excellency, at the end of your address today, I'll hand over a large key to the IG, symbolizing the possession of the facility by the National Police Service. However, that is when the important work of the National Police begins, the task of daily maintenance and repair to ensure that the facility is as good in 1, 5, 10 years as it is today. Unfortunately, everybody wants to build and nobody wants to do maintenance, even as the cost of regular maintenance is quite low compared to the cost of major breakdown. We look forward to the National Police Service backing the trend of poor maintenance and misuse of public facilities. If you are going to achieve excellence in big things, you develop the habit in little matters, said Colin Powell. It is an example, it is an important example worth setting.
Your Excellency, allow me to comment this project. In fact, when we came to commission this project, it just looked like a year ago. I want to comment the central bank, the governor here, the chairman there, that this project has been done in a very fast way, and it makes us proud as Kenyans that our country has the ability to do these kinds of projects very fast, very well. And as Kajiado County, we are happy that we are hosting this institution. We know it comes with many blessings. Your Excellency, you heard we have a police station provided by this, but just the presence of many police officers around will make mambo mabaya kupotea. So it will enhance our security as a county, but it will also spur a lot of economic activities because many of our people will have opportunities to benefit from these officers. But very importantly, Your Excellency, and this is finally, I want to confirm what Dr. Njoroge said, that the local community was involved in this project in a very big way to provide services, to provide labor, and to provide many other communities they needed. And it actually brought a lot of life and energy into our local environment. And so I want, on behalf of the people of Ngong, to say asante sana.
For us in the Ministry of Interior and National Administration, we believe that the future of policing is going to be knowledge-driven. For us as a country to contain, minimize, and eventually eradicate crime, we will need knowledge to go about the operations that we put in place. And that knowledge will be acquired through our own training institutions and curricula designed to meet our needs as a country and the security challenges that we continue to face as a nation, which are unique and are not identical to those of other countries. Number two, through this facility, as the Inspector General of Police has said, it is expected that we will build convergences between the operational practices of the National Police Service, the Directorate of Criminal Investigations, and also the Administrative Police Service to ensure we build the right synergies so that we can collectively address the security challenges that our country is facing. Finally, Your Excellency, you have directed us as a ministry to ensure that going forward, we enhance professionalism within the National Police Service and make sure that we run our internal security operations, our policing operations on the basis of professionalism, building good relationships with the communities that we serve, as well captured in the Kenya Kwanza Administration Manifesto. Your Excellency, sir, this facility, therefore, is going to help us meet that directive you've given us to make sure that we progressively professionalize our police service and make sure that those who take over leadership and command positions within the National Police Service are people who have the right intellectual software to manage the complex security challenges that evolve every day as society continues to evolve. In that regard, it is hoped, and it is my hope as Minister, that through the task force that you are setting up, the presidential task force on terms, conditions, and other reforms within the National Police Service and the Kenya Prison Service, some of the ideas which will be taught and passed on in this institution will be generated so that we can now proudly say we have the hardware to professionalize the police. What we are lacking is the software in terms of a good curriculum, a modern curriculum that infuses new ideas and new ways of policing as we continue to make sure that our country is secure.
Your Excellency, despite what professors write, despite what all people say about the problems bedeviling our continent, the problem of Africa is one of leadership. The problem of this country is one of leadership. The challenges of all our institutions is leadership. So, Your Excellency, this academy to impart leadership skills to our commanders in the National Police Service could not have come at a better time. I would like to request the new IG to consider that part of his legacy for the time he will serve as the Inspector General of Police is to impart leadership skills among our commanders in the National Police Service. A good National Police Service is as good as the leadership of the IG. A good police station is as good as the officer commanding police station. If that police station has a lot of corruption, chances are 9-1, the officer commanding that police station is leading in corruption. So the issue of leadership is what must be addressed to inculcate professionalism in our service. Your Excellency, Kenyans sometimes on TV in the evening make fun of the National Police Service when some county commanders and OPDs are trying to describe a crime scene, but in a way that is a little bit embarrassing. But if we impart the right leadership skills and we make the police service professional, that will be the beginning of the success of our police service. During our campaign period, I took the leading role to campaign for these people and to tell Kenyans that they are good people, that we just need to give them the right tools. But we also asked them to give back to society by being friendly, by dealing with Kenyans in a humane manner. And that is a challenge that we want to give to all of you, that we look for a way of engaging with the public. Even as we enforce the law, we do it in a human manner that dignifies the Kenyan people. Kenya, Your Excellency, you have told us is a country of the rule of law. We have a debate that is going on the use of firearms by our police officers. The Inspector General of Police, the CS Interior, and myself have come out clearly, and we won't repeat, because it's important that we do so. We are not asking any police officer to misuse his firearm, but we are saying, for the police officers to protect the lives and property of Kenyans, they themselves must be safe. And they must first protect themselves against criminals with guns before they can protect us. We are not in any way saying that the oversight authority should not do their job. They must go ahead and do it. But our officers must be safe. But again, our officers, for us to be able to protect you, you have 5 documents that you must rely on so that you work professionally. The Constitution of Kenya, the National Police Service Order, the Penal Code Cap 63, the Criminal Procedure Code Cap 75, the Evidence Act Cap 80. With those 5 documents, you will never get in problems with the oversight authority or with the law. You will be safe. Na pia nyinyi, tunaomba nyinyi muongeze masomo. You cannot go wrong kuongeza masomo. Hii masomo ni mzuri. Hata kama hakuna mshahara kuambatana naye, kaa naye ungoje, so that mshahara ikiongezwa ikute huko na masomo unafaidika. Your Excellency, hata masomo yangu ni kidogo. Ukatanipatia ruhusa kazi ikipungua niongeze kidogo. You know? Kwa ile kazi nimepewa na rais, masomo yangu iko chini kidogo. Unajua mimi niko na degree moja, my boss has 3. So unaona hiyo kibarua ni kali. Tena one of my senior colleagues ako professor. So pale kwa mikutano saa nyingine ninachanganyikiwa. So hata nyinyi tunaomba nyinyi officers pia muongeze masomo. You can never go wrong. Masomo ni mzuri.
Let me commend the leadership of our police service and the leadership of Central Bank. Pongezi sana. This is the kind of relationship we want to build around government. That all institutions must be able to speak with one another, and we must be able to synergize so that we avoid the silo mentality in government. When governor spoke, he said, this is very unlikely. But now we want this not to be the exception, we want this to be the norm. That government institutions can leverage on the resources that we have, so that, as is the case in this particular case, the central bank has used land for the police in industrial area to build housing for officers serving in central bank, and in return, they have come to build this leadership facility for the police. That is the kind of collaboration, that is the kind of synergy that must be the hallmark of government, that we can work together for the benefit not of any one person or any one institution, for the greater good of the people of Kenya. So again, I think here we have an opportunity in government to avoid unnecessary siloing in government. In fact, we have instances where government institutions take each other to court because of the failure to recognize and understand that we are one government, we are serving one people, and we must be able to build the network, the understanding for us to share the resources we have, and for us to use the resources we have for the greater good of the people of Kenya, not any one institution on its own. Wale wote katika serikali yetu ya Kenya ambao wamepelekana kotini wajifunze kutokana na hii collaboration tumeona kati ya Central Bank na jeshi yetu ya polisi, ya kwamba tunaweza kushirikiana na tunaweza kuongea pamoja tuweze kutumia ile resources tuko nayo kwa manufaa ya the different institutions that we serve, but also for the greater good of the government of Kenya. This Leadership Institute is a very important institution as we look into a professional police service. It is our intention to professionalize our security sector, more specifically, our police and our prison officers. It is our intention. And we are going to work with you to make sure that men and women who serve in our police service are proud of being the men and women who look after our children, who look after our property, and who provide that service that secures our country. And for that to be the case, we must deploy sufficient resources, we must train our men and women properly, the recruitment, the training, the promotion, and the entire terms of service must reflect the critical service that our policemen and women provide for our country. And as Deputy President has said, this morning I have appointed a task force to look into the reforms that are necessary for us to remove the gaps that currently exist in our police service, to think broadly and deeply into what does the government of Kenya need to do to make sure that the recruitment, the training, the promotion, terms of service, and all conditions are the best conditions possible for our men and women in the police force and in our prisons to serve their country. And I want to assure you that I am committed at a personal level and the Kenya government at the corporate level to make sure that we have a professional police service. I have given my assurance to the commanders across the country that they have my support, they have the support of the government of Kenya to make sure that they deliver on their mandate. We are a country governed by the rule of law. We are a constitutional democracy. And we want to build institutions, whether it is the judiciary, whether it is independent institutions like our police service, whether it is parliament. We want to build all these institutions to secure the rule of law and to secure our democracy, so that the whims of an individual cannot overrun the institutional capacity of all the institutions we build as a country. That is the way into the future. I have been very clear to all our men in uniform. I have had a chat with our military. I have had a chat with the commanders of the police. And I have been very clear to these men and women that they have a cardinal duty to secure the lives, the property, and the nation of Kenya, to make sure that we can rally our development, we can rally our progress in a secure environment. Everything else, whether we are running development issues or we are running our politics, it will be very difficult if we do not have a secure environment. And therefore, collectively, it is our duty as a nation. Kenyans, in their individual capacity, have a role to play. The bigger role is in the shoulders of our security men and women. And we will support you we will go out of our way to make sure that we make it easy for you to deliver on your mandate. And I have said this, that because we are a country of the rule of law, because we are a constitutional democracy, you must be grounded on the understanding of what the law says and what the Constitution says. And that is why this Leadership Institute is very important. That is why the curriculum through which our security men and women go through is very important, so that you can be grounded in the understanding on what you have to do, what is your mandate, what is your constitutional responsibility, what is your legal responsibility. And so that if for any chance you get, unfortunately, instructions that are not grounded in law or the constitutions, you should respectfully ignore such instructions and follow what the Constitution and the law says. That is the kind of police force we want to build. That is the kind of institutions we want to build, that these institutions can run on the understanding of what the law says, what the Constitution says, and we can all move together as a country. Many of our officers are living in very bad conditions. They live in, what we could say is squalor. They live in very bad settlements. They share residence. I know we have provided for house allowance. Some of them cannot get accommodation in the right places. And therefore, I have also instructed the Ministry of Housing to include provision for housing for all our security men and women as we do our affordable housing plan. So, Bwana IG, the ministry is going to get in touch with you so that you can tell us where you have adequate space for us to be able to build affordable houses so that your men and women can have reasonable accommodation and they can live decently, like the houses we have seen here. Si namna hiyo? So tutapangana na nyinyi tuhakikishe ya kwamba officers wetu wa polisi, wa prisons, wa jeshi wote tumewaunganisha katika mpango wetu wa kuwapangia mahali pazuri pa kuishi, na tunajua ile pesa mnapatiwa ya house allowance saa zingine haiwezi kukodesha nyumba mahali ambapo inatoshana na officers wetu. Wanaishi mahali si pazuri, wanahatarisha maisha yao, wanahatarisha mambo ya arms ambazo tuko nazo. So we will work together in that manner. We also need to depoliticize, and we've said this with my deputy. We don't need the assistance of the police in managing our politics. Siasa sisi tuko na watu wengi wa kutusaidia na siasa. Tuko na activists wengi, tuko na lobby groups mingi, tuko na pressure group mingi, na watu wengi wa kupiga makelele. Tunataka polisi washughulike na mambo ya usalama ya Wakenya wote bila kujali ni wa mrengo gani wa kisiasa. Sisi siasa na vyama ni mambo ambayo yako katika katiba ya Kenya. So all our policemen and women provide security across Kenya for all citizens of our republic, bila ya kujali ni wa chama hii, dini ile, kabila hiyo, ama misingi ingine yoyote. Nyinyi ni kazi yenu ni kuhakikisha kwamba Wakenya wote bila ya kujali yale mambo mengine yote wanapata usalama yao, familia zao, watoto wao, biashara zao, maisha yao, mali yao. Every Kenyan must be secured. Mambo hii ya siasa tutangangana na wale tuko nao kwa siasa. hiyo sisi ndio mafundi wa huko, tutajua ya vile ya kunyoroshana na wao huko. Nyinyi ufundi yenu ni ya usalama, so mtusaidie hapo kwa usalama. Hii ingine we don't need your help. Hii ingine tutangangana na wale wako kwa kiwanja hiyo.
Ndugu yangu, kwani hizi app za loans natakaje ndio wanipe loan?
Sasa nikuulize ndugu yangu, unataka kufanya nini yodo?
Nataka expand business, nitaweka gari nyingine.
Oh, sasa bro, acha nikueleze, kuna app inaitwa VIP. Unaona sasa, ukiwa na hii app, ni app yenye inakusaidia kumanage busy yako. Sasa wewe kama mse wa taxi, ukimanage transactions zako through VIP for the next 3 months, unaweza get access to loan. Na pia kulingana na design yenye unakopa na unalipa hiyo loan, wanaweza kupatia pia access to a better handsome amount ya loan. Unanipata ndugu yangu?
Nakupata. Hiyo kwanza iko verified.
Kabisa. Sasa download VIP leo na uexpand busy yako in the next 3 months, au sio?
Kabisa bana, hata niweke sahi.